diverse champion pools, it's almost impossible to shove them out the game at this stage.
So the first ban champions have come down. That would be LeBlanc, Ziggs, Irelia, and Kassadin as the second ban coming in from N Faculty. And to round it off will be Brom. So they have broken the cycle. They will no longer get Brom 4 games in a row, but they did get 3 games in for yesterday's groups from Group A. And what will be the last ban? It will be Lucian from NIP. So banning out both of the champions who make up a strong pairing. But the first pick will be N Faculty taking Jax.
And there's an insta-lock-in on Kale from Alex, which is, we've seen him playing it in mid plenty of times. There's no reason why he can't crush at the top as well. Interesting enough, the ban on Lucian, it's Cedrian's most played AD carry in solo queue, 62% win rate. So obviously fearing that, respecting it, saying, okay, we know you're good on this champion, we just don't want to deal with it.
They have, however, left out a lot of champions that NIP are very strong with, including the Syndra as well. But the AD carry of Twitch has been picked up for Ninjas in Pyjamas, making sure they secure that one, because with Lucian being off the playing field, they will force them onto a champion who is maybe a little bit different and going back to what they were strong with a couple of months ago.
Yeah, absolutely. They're holding over the Lulu right now. We were obviously informed, and we've casted this a bunch of times as well, that Power of Evil Syndra is top tier. So what do you reckon? Are you expecting that insta-lock to come in?
I would be very surprised if they didn't pick up the Syndra from Ninjas in Pyjamas, but there's no real reason to pick it away, because as we mentioned before, Syndra isn't part of everyone's core champion pool from mid lane, so they can afford to have that as maybe a 4th or a 5th pick, because they need to prioritize that. And instead, N Faculty will prioritize the Elite, who wasn't banned out. We did see that banned out earlier today, and Lulu may well round up the 3rd pick from N Faculty.
It seems so. We actually saw Lulu picked into Syndra yesterday as somewhat of a counter, because Wild Growth will stop the ultimate coming in from Syndra, Unleashed Power. So yeah, I can kind of see why Sigu might play for that. He typically goes for champions like Ziggs, which are banned, so he's going to have to move down a few pegs there. Thresh, for me, is a good pick if they do lock that in to go with Twitch. We spoke about this plenty of times over the last couple of days.
Yep, Thresh will definitely complement the Twitch play very nicely. Another pick that is open is Lee Sin, and that is Q's most played champion. In solo queue, played over 100 games with that champion. And I think the second most played champion was Kha'Zix, and that was only coming in at around 30 games. So you can see the disparity between these top played champions. So Lee Sin's open, they can pick it in this rotation, or they can leave it open, but Syndra still being on the playing field. Well, there we go. They're hovering over it with 8 seconds to go. We'll see if they swap it up. Not at all. It will be Thresh and Lee Sin coming out from NIP.
Some love to London there as well. Just that in the camera shot. But it will be Lee Sin as you called before it was even hovered over. It's kind of predictable. It's cool. You know, it's either going to be Lee Sin or maybe Kha'Zix. They're both available, but we will take the Lee Sin first.
Yeah, and at that point there was no pressure to pick up Lee Sin either, because they'd already picked up a Lee, so they had the jungler that they wanted. So in that case, they could have picked up maybe a mid laner, but again, if that's going to be a mid lane pick they're not going to take anyway, then, you know, they don't need to do that either. And hovering over Cogmore from N Faculty, we saw that yesterday from Freeze, and actually did very well. But they had Brom to protect, they had Lulu protect as well. So do they have the same sort of composition? Well, yes, they do. They have the Lulu. They solidify and lock in the Cogmore. So they have a composition built around keeping Cog alive.
Correct, and we saw this yesterday as well from NIP, as you mentioned, from Freeze, and he had a similar kind of composition stacked around him. In fact, I believe they had Kale as well as Lulu.
It was Lulu and Brom, I believe, but there's the last pick, and there's Syndra, and everyone's been saying, don't leave Syndra open, because Power of Evil, he is one of the strongest Syndras we've seen in Europe so far. So, basically everyone on NIP has a champion they're incredibly strong with and at home with. Not sure if the banning phase went all that well for N Faculty.
Well, on the flip side, there's a few good picks as well on them. So you got to go backwards and forwards on this, but I would definitely agree with you that looking at NIP's roster and the champions they've got, they're incredibly happy right now.
Yeah. It's scary, honestly. I would be trembling in my boots if I was playing on stage right now, Metas. But for N Faculty, they have a well-rounded composition. It works well for Cogmore. It works well because they have these 2 kind of hyper carries. Jax will get to late game, hopefully, get a couple kills early and snowball into the game. And Cogmore will look to do the same thing. Got the Black Shield, got the Lulu, and Elise just kind of goes in there for general utility, general strong jungling. So hopefully it works out.
Yeah, hopefully we are going to be onto the Rift very shortly, ladies and gentlemen, in this second semi-finals. NIP up against N-Faculty. The winner of this game will go through to face off against Polish team Reason Gaming. And
Reason Gaming looked so strong earlier today, Metas. In groups, they looked strong. They went 2-1, losing, of course, to NIP. So maybe if they meet them in the finals, then we'll have a grudge match there from groups. But at least Reason looks so strong, and winning that series 2-0, and the second game was really decisive. I felt like they got in the heads of their opponents at that point, because the first game was back and forth, but the second game was kind of a whitewash.
It was. It didn't quite live up to the hype of the first game, which, to be fair, has been the trend throughout this tournament. But a lot of people, ourselves included, if you rewind back to the first game of the first day when it was NIP versus Reason Gaming, people were saying this could very well be a taste of things to come in the final. Yeah. And hey, it's still on the cards if NIP get past N-Faculty.
And they are standing in the way of NIP to try and get themselves to the finals, and likewise NIP will be doing the same. But either way, guys, it is N-Faculty in the blue corner, and up against them today in this best-of-3 semi-finals will be Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Absolutely. So, well, there you go.
Perfect timing.
A slap to the face.
I was like, I wonder what they're going to be doing in the first couple of minutes. Well, absolutely nothing, apparently, because they will not be able to move.
They won't. They're not going to be able to move for quite some time as well. So, okay, let's talk about the comps. You know, we mentioned about NIP having a lot of comfort picks. We mentioned about a lot of strong champions on N-Faculty's side, but let's talk about the synergy between the two teams themselves. Looking at the two comps, where are the highs and lows for both sides here?
N-Faculty, they scale really well into the later parts of the game. Of course, Cogmore, Jax, we mentioned this in Champion Select. The Mountain as well will be able to at least keep them alive. The same sort of thing goes for Lulu, but Lulu's all about the rest of the team doing well. So it's basically putting your money on the Jax and the Cogmore, and then Elise to try and help you get to that stage. Likewise, NIP, they'll have some pretty strong scaling. They have the Kale. They also have the Twitch as well, who is a late game hyper carry and will be able to do a ton of damage when we get to fights. But I think we have to look at Power of Evil, because he's on his Syndra, he's on his comfort champion.
As you can see, shots of the audience. Before that, you did see there were some issues with Freeze's PC by the look of things, which are hopefully going to get fixed very shortly. But yeah, I think you're about on the nail there, hit that point home. That Cedrion's going to struggle. This is what happened with Freeze yesterday as well when he picked up Cogmore. But the problem is, for N-Faculty, is yesterday when Freeze was getting shut out of the game, Alex and Ku in particular stepped up to the plate, I should say, and they really picked up that slack. So let's see how Cedrion does fare this game.
Indeed, and you can see our admins on stage are currently trying to figure out what's the problem, and when we have more information, we will do our best to relay it to you, just so you know what's going on and we're all reading from the same page. But at the moment, just kind of chilling in a pause.
Nothing is known yet, so we're just going to have to stand by.
Indeed.
I wish something had happened so we could get our teeth into some analysis, but unfortunately it's like 29 seconds into the game.
Exactly.
So it's like, okay, cool. Oh, resume.
We have been informed that we are going back into game. So one more second and there we go. Ku just testing the water, throwing out a Q, getting ready to throw those skill shots. And in the mid lane, Sigu is challenging Power of Evil to a dance-off, but he doesn't look like he's going to play ball.
Would you? Oh, no. Oh, no. I see what you did there. That was terrible.
I actually didn't mean to that time.
Really?
I'll roll with the punches.
I don't believe that. Knowing you as I do not believe that for a second. But would you trust someone like Power of Evil with a name like that?
Probably not.
Dance-off? I'm not so sure.
But Alex Ich did not manage to take down the ward, so he will maintain that vision, that being from Ron Bear. And not too much happening. Everyone just deciding to fan out, just play it conservative, not steal away any buffs. And with both the junglers being pretty strong in one-on-ones and in the jungle as skirmishers, then they don't really want to risk it. No team has a huge advantage because Voidal has the hook, Mountain has the binding, so they're fairly evenly matched at the level 1. The safe option is to do nothing.
Exactly. That's where you're not going to put yourself in a horrific position if it goes terribly wrong. And this is the semi-finals. This is getting down to that finish line almost, and you don't want to give a free game away in these best-of-3 situations. So you can see that in Faculty are lurking around and potentially going to go in for late invade, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Power of Evil has seen this one. He's pinged it to his team as well, so Ku knows exactly what the deal is.
This is a very late invade as well. They will start to miss lane minions, but they're going to go for it. Obvious now moving on to that red buff with the rest of the team behind him, but you can see Voil goes into the bottom jungle, places down that ward, so if he walks all the way on 8 legs to his other buff, then they'll be able to 1-seed that, or 2, have Lee Sin able to steal that away and just even it up to a 2-2 buff trade, which, having Cedrian slightly behind in terms of CS, especially when your, not necessarily composition all revolves around that, but definitely Prombearer and Cedrian have to do well, and Power of Evil just showing how strong he is with Scatter the Weak, and that is what makes or breaks a good Syndra player.
Oh, absolutely. And this guy is top tier. There is no doubt about it. His Syndra play with the Scatter the Weaks, especially in team fights, was keeping Freeze alive on Twitch, if you remember back. And that allowed him to rat-a-tat-tat through the entirety of opposite teams and basically just crush them down. So that's one to watch out for as they do progress through. But on top of that, they have the Kayle. So there's 2 levels now, 2 safety blankets firmly tucking Twitch in. And there's no problem for him unless he positions poorly. That's the only way he's going to die.
At the moment, we just have the buddy system of Ku and Alex going through the jungle, actually doing a bit of counter jungling down there. And Obvious just had to pick up the scraps, but no significant lead either way. And from that start, it was a little bit more conservative. It was not a full-on fight in the mid lane. However, Prombear did decide to roam down, do a little bit more damage to Power of Evil, knowing that maybe a less favorable matchup for Siggy, just to even the odds just a little bit.
Yeah, still yet to go into his lane, just roaming around, trying to make a nuisance of himself. You can see 3 players strong pushing top right now, but they are going to face off against both Alex and Voidal. They'll be clearing away this wave with pretty much ease. Bot lane, this is allowing Twitch to just do what he wants, and that's farm right now. He's not really that interested in kills, of course. If they're offered to him, he'll take them. Every AD carry would, but Twitch needs that farm desperately.
And it was actually the team of End Faculty who instigated the lane swap because they went for that early invade, but Power of Evil was aggressing onto Siggy. Gets the auto attacks down, but the shielding is enough to keep him healthy for now, but it's just a constant harassment will start to pay dividends when it gets into the next couple of minutes. But as we said, it wasn't Faculty who wanted to go for the lane swap up, and while that gets Cogmore fed, so it makes Twitch do the same thing. So what do you value more?
That's exactly it, especially when Twitch has all of these avenues to escape and survive in team fights. Cedrian is about 2 CS ahead, but that really is nothing at all. And Prombear is just 3 behind Kayle, so both teams pretty much keeping it even. You can see there's about 200 gold discrepancy in favor of NIP.
Both teams are fairly similar in what they're looking for in terms of winning conditions and how they want the game to play out. The top laners scale very well into late game. They'll be dueling it out, and Kayle is actually one of those champions who can actually go toe-to-toe with a late game Jax. With the intervention, Jax jumps in and has comparable damage. So the only discrepancy is in mid lane, where you have the Syndra versus Lulu. Lulu is looking to support the team, where Syndra is looking to blow someone up.
And something as well to take note of is if Siggy continues to be this bullied and pushed back and start to get further and further behind on CS, at some point Elisa's going to have to go mid and kind of camp that one out. So obviously it's going to have to be very present in mid, and doing so, they're not going to be able to push this top tower quickly. And that means that Twitch is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger.
Ku poked his nose in the enemy jungle with Obvious, and Obvious just made sure he received the cocoon, just knows his place, meaning he just can't walk everywhere he wants in the jungle currently. And there's been no real interaction with the junglers in the lane so far, being quite content to go with the buddy system. And now that we have the supports moving into the top lane, actually Kayle is fulfilling that kind of role. And in the bot lane, Freezer's completely by himself against Prombear and Obvious. See how he does.
Yeah, and that goes on to the point that I was going to say as to why Twitch is going to get stronger. He's getting solo XP right now, so he's leveling up faster than Cedrian is. Therefore, his ultimate's going to be available before Cedrian's is as well. And Rat-a-tat-tat is a massive, massive power spike for Twitch. So right now, he can probably hold off this push for his team of NIP, and in doing so, the other lanes are able to just stabilize themselves.
And in turn, it means they can go for fight sooner, having that ultimate available. Rat-a-tat-tat, as you mentioned, is very prevalent when it comes to trades and team fights. It means they can maybe force the Dragon objective a little bit sooner, especially with the pace of the game being fairly slow at the moment, but it's about to hot up as Ku moves to the mid lane, doesn't get the Q onto Sigu, and he is burning down, but it's not enough to take him out just yet. Yeah,
burnt the flash, but not the ultimate, which is exactly why Ku didn't tower dive, because he knew as soon as he did, ulti up in the air, and then he's in a pretty scary position. So, smart play that. We'll be backing away, and job done. Flash has been burnt.
Yeah, that was all he really needed to do. Plus he didn't have level 6, so he wasn't able to use the ultimate, but Cedrian gets hooked in. The dark shield, the black shield comes in a little bit too late. Alex is raining down the damage. Voidal takes some of the return by Cedrian and Mountain, and will be coming forward to the dark binding. Doesn't quite find its mark in the mid lane, however. Sigu puts the hurt onto Power of Evil, but again, no kills.
And this is what I was talking about. Because Sigu's being so battered right now by Power of Evil, he has to camp mid. In doing so, he has to flash away. Obvious very nearly bites the dust. Wild Growth coming to his rescue.
And we've seen summoners burnt left and right all over the board, all over the field. And that means next time the junglers go for a gank, that's a solid, secure kill, because they will not have that panic button to click get out of jail free card.
Yeah, if they want the ironclad kill on Lulu, they need to go very shortly. But let's pass it over to our analyst. Actually, hold that thought for 1 second, because there could be a tower dive. Cedrian is going to go on Ku, forces them back for now. So it's looking like a pretty sticky situation with 3 players pushing top, 2 of which are going to actually move towards mid.
Well, they wanted to try and go for the tower dive, but especially with Jax being there, especially with the soul shackles available from Mountain, lots of tools to keep them in place underneath the tower, and they cannot take too many shots at this stage, so it's better just to disengage, abort mission, and go back to base and pick up some items, which these guys have started to do. So the makings of the Fiends and Holy Grail, the Chalice of Harmony, of course, coming in from both of the mid laners, maybe opting towards the Duran's Ring as well, and of course the very standard Stinger coming out. However, in the mid lane, Power of Evil gets squirreled, but Ku comes in from behind looking for that kick, lands the Q, lands the execute, first blood goes to Ku.
I really like the fact that he kicked back Sigu towards his own tower as well, so he had to make up so much more room just to escape, and that's what I was talking about before. Go in on Sigu before he has the wild growth, and therefore it's a very comfortable kill, and that's exactly what we saw happen.
Yeah, all the panic buttons were burnt, meaning that Sigu had no way to get out of dodge, and he was taken out by Ku and Power of Evil. So first blood goes to Ninjas in Pyjamas, so they do start leading in this game, but there's no huge advantage either way, and 10 minutes in, with everyone thinking NIP, this star-studded lineup, it could go either way.
I'd like to draw the attention, though, to the difference in farm between Pronbear and Alex. 65 to 36, and they've both been in kind of situations they probably don't want to be in. One of the reasons for this, though, is that Voidal went top and effectively supported Alex, so it was a 2v2 lane. He wasn't being harassed back to lane, whereas Jax had to deal with 1v1, flash in from Voidal, and the box as well manages to death sentence a minion. So at least they got the 20-odd gold at the end.
That's true, but because there's been interactions, but there hasn't necessarily been kills, by the time Voidal's ultimate is up again, maybe there'll be action. But he did burn basically everything to try and get that engage to happen. He knew that they were probably stronger in an engage. Of course, Twitch is past the level 6 mark. He will have the rat-a-tat-tat, but in the top lane, Alex is aggressing in, and he knocked Pronbear backwards.
Well, Ku wasn't joking by picking Alex up when they walked in, because that is a successful gank at top lane. This could turn into a double, actually. There's the intervention, repels up, but whatever comes up has to come back down again, and at least will be taken out courtesy of Alex.
And that was a situation where you just want to kind of stay up there and never come back down again, ever.
Pretty much.
He was taken out. 3 kills to 0 in total, 2 of those on Ku, and 100% kill participation. And looking very strong. It's all been about the jungler interactions. so far in this game. 2-on-2 in the bot lane. Voidal, nice sidestep away from the binding. Again, the hook goes through onto Zedrian, but a well-timed Black Shield from Mountain means that won't be going anywhere.
And that's pretty much why you pick Morgana against Thresh, in a nutshell, is you can block pretty much everything that Thresh is going to throw at you. Look at this Power of Evil, though. He is stamping his authority down in mid lane. 26 CS difference in his favor as well, so he has really been putting the burners on that.
Alexic also managed to pick up the top turret, and will give them that advantage as well in terms of map control in the bot lane. Just farming away, can't quite really find their way into a fight, but in top lane, 90 CS to 39 is quite a big difference, and Alexic is showing how much strength he has by making sure Cromwell can't get anywhere near. And now NIP looking to convert this into a dragon as well, but N Faculty are collapsing in. Q jumps in with the kick.
He does. Mountain has Soul Shackles, does flash, will get the stun on Q. Actually, not bad play, and that's going to buy up enough time for Zedrian to go huge. Here comes the passive after he dies. Double kill from Power of Evil. Wants to go back in and get his triple kill. Now turns back around, wants that quadra desperately, and he's not going to get it, as Alex will pick that one up right at the end. Huge exchange, 4-for-1.
Alex saying, I want a piece of that cake as well, and comes in with one more kill. 4 kills for 2 right there, and the dragon going to Ninjas in Pyjamas. That is perfect right now. We're going to send it over to Stretch for some breakdown.
NIP have really well orchestrated their game plan here. They came in, they gave Jax away, knowing they could take Kayle, who in a solo lane will do well. As soon as they appeared in the duo lane, you saw Voidal go and join Alex. You've already touched about this, but what this lets them do against N Faculty is pressure Cogmore out of his laning phase. It's always been his weakest phase, and from there, Alex had the room in lane to teleport down to the bottom lane with the rest of the team. They got kills on Power of Evil because he has sublime Syndra play. Alex picked one up for himself. This is a very well-worked game plan out of NIP.
That's absolutely right. And Faculty just haven't got the time, haven't got the room to maneuver to ramp up fast enough, and NIP are capitalizing on that at the moment with their strong early game, the Lee Sin, of course, and now the extra kills will accelerate their game plan, which has already been unfolding perfectly and to plan.
Yeah, nearly 6,000 lead for them, just shy of it. That's at 14 minutes. I mean, that is, I'm not going to say game-breaking, but it's very, very significant so far. And the kills, again, are on the right target. Syndra, 3, Kayle, 2, and Lee Sin's got 2 as well. And he does well with kills. The only player they'd like to get more on, of course, is Twitch, as Obvious does actually get his own blue buff. Is this going to be at the cost of his own life, though? He's going to repel up, but again, there's not many targets. Flashes through the wall, and there's the flash kill from Alex. Sublime play.
And he will make sure he is going nowhere. In the bot lane, however, Zedrian and Mountain are pushing away. They've got a large minion stack, but being so far up there, they won't be able to run away if a fight ensues. But in the top lane, Alex, Power of Evil, and Ku are just slamming into this turret and chunking it down, turning that to rubble in no time at all. Kayle just rips through these towers a lot like a Jinx would. And are they going to stop the assault? Yes, they will. And Pronbear finally has some time to himself to carry on farming, but almost double CS from Alex.
Crazy, crazy stuff right now. With that early Nash's Tooth, you saw how quickly he made short work of those 2 top towers, and that's something that they, unfortunately, from N Faculty, are going to have to look forward to going forward in this matchup, because now the battering ram has gathered in mid.
And Sigurd takes a full combo from Power of Evil, with Alex Edge also chiming in with those auto attacks. Means that not only does he make short work of those towers, but short work of those champions.
That was through Wild Growth as well. Yeah. So it just goes to show there is nowhere to hide right now if you're Lulu.
Even with the ultimate, didn't even make the blind's bit of difference. Just meant it took another half second to finish him off. Ku moves into the mid lane wall again. Just a deja vu moment from top lane. Rinse and repeat onto the middle tower. Ku saying, okay, I'll take the cocoon, I'll just take your turret as well. Alexic will be the one picking that one up.
And now look at them. Almost mechanical. Let's just go bot. Let's do the exact same thing again. This could be 6 towers in the space of, what, 3 minutes?
Yeah.
If they're successful. And that's the key point, if.
Well, looks like they will just put down the aggressive wards, get themselves some extra vision. They've gotten the map control, so they'll make sure that stays with them by securing the vision. and giving themselves more knowledge to make those educated decisions when it comes into team fights. Dragon isn't up for a little while, so they have some time until that happens. But bot lane did decide to go back for the team of N Faculty, and Ninjas in Pyjamas don't even need the help of the rest of the team, the cavalry. They'll just do it themselves.
Man, look at that goal difference. At 16.5 minutes. Are you kidding me?
All of that global gold. 10,000, well, 9,000 gold. I can do maths. Is currently coming up from Ninjas in Pyjamas. Absolutely absurd. That is all split over their team, however, so it's not on a single member. But Power of Evil also picking up another 4 kills. Means that he is well on his way to his second item, maybe even looking for the Death via Grasp. That is the makings of it currently in his item build, but has the Fiends already. And already just having the Fiends is putting him over his counterpart of Sigu.
Yeah, that is truly terrifying to look at, and I'm sure Sigu is feeling pretty small right now on the map. In comparison, Pronbearer is there, and again we're seeing the burst damage come through. 5th kill now for Power of Evil. He wants more though, and that's going to be Ku chiming in, taking down the kill. Scud of the week, are you kidding me? He survives it and picks up the double.
Power of Evil gonna strut out, walk into the bush, go ahead and recall. Unbelievable. We've said how strong Power of Evil is, and we were surprised when he was given that champion, and now we understand, and hopefully N Faculty will maybe learn from this one and have to change up the ideas in the following game. But that's not to say this game is done and dusted. It's not over just yet. 12-2 is a daunting scoreline. 5 towers to 0, all the map control. The map is essentially Ninjas in Pyjamas, but we've seen crazier things happen. They can hold on.
We have, but the way that NIP have been playing these last 2 days, I'm not sure they'll throw this. Like, I can't see it happening, honestly. It's such a huge gold margin. Power of Evil has been playing sublime, immaculate.
Yeah, they have been extremely fluid over the last couple of days, and one of the biggest questions from a lot of people coming into this tournament is NIP are good on paper, but how much practice have they had with each other? Well, the answer is very little, but apparently that doesn't seem to matter. Pronbearer goes one-on-one with Ku and may even lose this trade. He goes back in. Oh, jumps over the wall as well. Pronbearer gets faked down. It's like, what just happened to me? And Ku escapes with his life. Very flashy.
Wow. That was pretty impressive stuff, because there was really nowhere else for him to go as well. That was the optimal route to take, and actually going underneath that tower from NIP, that sentence very narrowly missing on Cedrian. This is one of the problems of Pokemon, unfortunately. If you get behind and you don't have much peel, what can you do?
And they did repel the assault for a couple seconds, and they're kind of just like vultures circling the corpse at the moment. They can smell it. They pick up the red buff. I believe one of them picked up the red buff. Did we see a smite, in fact, by the jungle?
I think it was Kale that got it.
Can't quite see it right now, but they did go for that invade, and more importantly, they will be taking the Drake, which will convert into even more gold. And that was actually obvious, smiting that away, so N Faculty secure it. I thought that would happen, but I couldn't see it on my screen.
That's pretty good though for an IP. You know, as soon as Obvious secures the red, it's like, okay, he used his smite. Let's just take the dragon instead. We're happy enough with that one. Ku trying to linger around the blue buff. He does get pushed back, but again, it's a case of N Faculty. They're kind of lurking around positions you don't really want to be in.
But it's also weighing that up with just sitting in your base and not being proactive and not doing anything at all and waiting for the inevitable. At least they're getting out there and they're trying to make things happen, even if they can't make anything happen, I think is what is happening at the moment. But N Faculty, one of the best of positions, I think it can be said, but it's not all over. We haven't really seen a full 5-on-5 fight either, so we get into that. Maybe things will change, but we've spoken about how their composition is so strong late game, and we're a long way from it, especially with their team. 20 minutes in, and 1-1-1 on the Cogwall, 0-2-0 on the Jax. Not in the place you want to be at.
And a 0-4 Lulu as well. And you know, if there was to be a 5v5 fight kick-off, confident NIP are more than likely going to clean ace it, because look at their comp and look at where the kills are currently situated. It would be over in the blink of an eye.
So in terms of items, again, it's basically a skeleton item build from the team of N Faculty. They all essentially have one big item, and aren't really even on their way to another. Meanwhile, 2 items finished by pretty much everyone on Ninjas in Pyjamas. Crombear will go one-on-one with Alex Sid, but he still has his ultimate. Freeze comes in from the south side as well. He will be using him as a jumping post, and Freeze will say, okay, you're jumping in range of my crossbow, and I will finish you off.
Yeah, I think Crombear was waiting for his team to come in and try and get a kill on Freeze from the back, but was completely caught out of position himself. And now NIP have taken all outer towers, find themselves now, what's that, 14k ahead at the 22 or just under minute mark. That is insurmountable, I'd say, gold advantage at this stage, especially with the composition they have. They have to stall for way too long to be relevant.
But the biggest tool in stalling is the inhibitor towers. As long as they are still standing strong, then they can at least hold on. But how much wave clear do they have, and can Power of Evil just one combo more? And the answer is probably yes if he can get in range. Alex Itch just ripping apart this turret, and they really need this to carry on standing. It will be standing, but barely. Honestly, just a sneeze will topple the tower.
Yeah, and as soon as you lose one inhibitor tower, like that's just where things become pear-shaped for you. Because in that stage, you can start to push through, and it's almost impossible to deal with.
It is indeed. So Freeze heads forwards. The Lanceman was there as a fail-safe if that went pear-shaped, but it's not at all. And Alex Itch is very aggressive. He uses the ultimate, and they are looking for the full-blown fight.
Yeah, Box comes down, Soul Shackles as well, but look at this, the cleanup once again. It's going to be Twitch jumping in at the end there. Both Jax and Morgana are dead, with Obvious and Sigu flashing up red. This is at least one inhibitor.
Freeze flashes out and flashes towards Sigu, looking for this last kill. He doesn't need it, but he'd like to add another notch on his belt. Sigu is keeping him at bay, but the rest of the team, meanwhile, is pushing away. Power of Evil and the tag team of Voidor, but Sigu, the chase is still continuing. And it's just going to be Ku keeping him at bay while Freeze pushes in the lane. Sigu, well, he checked the brush. Oh, he stopped the recall. He managed to dodge the Q, and they both recall. Ku just assuming he was already recalled, and they both just walk back to base.
Yep, and they will not be getting any rewards for that. Dragging up in about 2 minutes. Alex, quite curious actually. I haven't seen him go back for a while, although maybe I'm just blind, I'm not entirely sure. Let's have a look at the gold. Only 500, so apparently I'm blind. Nice one, good to know now.
But yeah, the Runes Hurricane, the Nash's Tooth, and the makings of a number of items from the large Brad, but basically 2.5 items at 24 minutes, just on a single player, you would say, is a huge asset to the team. And then you look at the same story being on both the jungler, the mid laner, the AD carry, even the support at this point is just rolling in gold, being showered in it. And Sigu is aggressing onto Ku, and Ku will just turn around and kick him in the face.
Yeah, that's another simple kill for Freeze. He wants the double. And as soon as Elise comes down, he's going to get just that. You'd have to think, there we go, double kill for Freeze. Moves on 4-0. The two carries have 10 kills, 0 deaths between them. And that pretty much is this game in a nutshell. Tower falls, inhibitor soon afterwards. And NIP, they are looking so comfortable.
They are. The flash forwards. Ku lands the Q. That will be Freeze going unstoppable. Alex Itch is just looking to suppress them on the spawn pad as they finish off everything else. And Ku just faking them out, even all the way back to the fountain. And this is the Nexus falling. They're ripping through the turret. They rip through the base. And Ninjas in Pyjamas, a pretty much flawless performance, finishing this game off in very quick fashion.
I'm kind of at a loss for words. I'm not sure what to say, and judging from faculty, they're in a very similar position, because